So this is a typical Gauss Seidel equation. We are asked to find the value of x, y, and z, the exact values of x, y, and z. So first of all, we have to write the equation in such a way that they will be diagonally dominant. To write an equation to be diagonally dominant, you first have to look at the variables and the coefficients. So in that order from x, y, and z. So we look at the equation that has the highest coefficient of x, that's 28. 28 has the highest coefficient among the other two equations, and so 28, that equation becomes the first equation. We are making the equation diagonally dominant, so 32, that becomes equation 1. Now we want the second variable is y, so we want the highest coefficient of y, which is 17, and so that now becomes our equation 2. So we have 2x plus 17y plus 4z is equal to 35, and now comes equation 2. Obviously, the third becomes the equation 3, and we can verify because among all the three, 10 is the highest coefficient of z. So that makes it the third equation. So x plus 3y plus 10z is equal to 24. That is equation 3. Now, what is the next thing that we are supposed to do? We are going to make x, y, and z the subjects of the respective equations, meaning that now they are diagonally dominant. Diagonally dominant doesn't mean that we have to write the equations in decreasing order of the coefficient of x. No. So now we are going to make. So now, how do we make x the subject in equation 1? So x is equal to 1 out of 28, open bracket, 32 minus what? 4y minus z, or plus z is equal to, that's that now. Okay, so the next one is for 17. So we are going to get y is equal to, we are making y the subset of the second equation. Y is equal to 1 out of 17, open bracket, 35 minus 2x minus 4z, right? Z, I didn't write z. Okay, it's called that now. And also for the third equation, we're making z the subject, so we are getting z is equal to 1 out of 10, 24 minus x. Okay, minus x. So minus 3y minus x. I'll come back and correct that mistake because there's a reason why we do that. I had to write it the alphabet in alphabetical order. And so now we are moving to the iteration. So the first iteration is where we find the value of x, y, and z using the initial conditions: x is equal to 0, y is equal to 0, and z is equal to 0. So we don't know x, so we write x is equal to, we are using the same equation, and so minus 0, initial condition, and that will give us what? Punch that on the calculator. The rest is 0, right? So now we punch that on the calculator, and then we get an answer. There's a reason why I'm writing all the values I got, because the question will ask you to find the exact values. Finding the exact values, you don't want to approximate, and later you end up doing more iterations. So I'm using the exact values that I got from the calculator. If the question said do maybe up to 4 decimal places, then you can consider truncating the number you've gotten or rounding it up to the 4th decimal place to be 1.1429. But here I'm not doing that, so I'm leaving it exactly as it is. Even if the question said up to 4 decimal places, you can decide to round it to the 5th decimal place so that the final answer you get will not be too much of a rounded number. So that's why I'm leaving the number exactly as I had them. And so now we are still on the first iteration, but now we are finding for the value of y in the first iteration. So y1, how do we get y1? We punch the exact equation that we got from the beginning, the equation for y1 on the calculator. So y is equal to 1 out of 17 into bracket 35 minus 2x minus 4. Oh, 35 minus 2x minus 4 minus 4. Okay, minus 4z. And so z, we are using m for z. That's how come I'm getting that. So after punching, I write that down as y1 .9748. Okay, now I'm going to find z1. Still on the first iteration, the value for z is equal to 1 out of 10. The first equation that we are still working with the equation we got. So 1 out of 10 is equal to 1 out of 10 into bracket 24. 24, right? 24. Oh, right, 24. Like that's 3y. Wow, this y is going to be y1 because we have y1, minus x1 because we have x1. So that's what makes it Gauss Seidel. Gauss Seidel, right? So we punch that on the calculator, and the calculator is systematic. It's storing all the values that we are getting for the respective x, y, and z. And so I'll advise that you don't punch other things as x and y or m on the calculator while doing this, because you might interfere with them. So punching that. So I'm using z as m on the calculator because I figured there's no letter z on the calculator. So this is the y we have. Yes, and always I make sure I check whether I'm following the calculator. So that's press equal to oh. So the moment you press, after pressing the equation, you press calc and then equal to. When you press the first equal to ask of the value, let's say y, then you punch y. If it asks for z, you punch z. If it asks for x, you punch x. It's already stored in there. Check whether that's the right way. So I did a mistake. The mistake was that x was supposed to come before y. That's in the mind of the calculator. That's how it's supposed to be. And so x first and then y last. So I corrected that. And I'm writing it again. Z is equal to 1 out of 10 into bracket 24. Write 24. Write 24 minus x minus 3y. Thank you. So that's now we see question 3. I'm supposed to cancel the first ones. So moving on. I'll now punch it on the calculator. Calc. Press calc. And now the x that we had, the same x we are using, so that's x1 and that's y1. So now this is z1. What is z1 in decimals? Right, we are working in decimals. So right, z1 is equal to 1 point, on the calculator, 1.7. Oh, can't you see? 1 point. Sorry, I had trouble adjusting my adjusting the camera. So please, I'm writing it again. 1.708403361. Thank you. And now to the second iteration. The second iteration, I'm finding x2, y2, and z2. And so, how do we get x2? By just punching the equation we have on the calculator and inputting the values that we have. So x2 is equal to 1 out of 28. Open bracket. 32 minus 4y 1 plus z1. Z1, there's no need to even put it in a bracket. So Z1, right? I'll punch it on the calculator and then get the answer. So it's very simple. And now we are still on it. Now we are finding y2. So I'm still using the equation I have for y. So I'm writing y is equal to 1 out of 17 to bracket 35 minus 2x up there. 2x minus that. So now I'm punching it on the calculator. After punching this on the calculator, make sure that the values that the calculator is giving is the exact values that I'm looking for. So that's how come it went that way. So now I believe we have a value for y2. So the value of y in iteration 2, that is y2. What is y? So we are using while x2 and y1 and z1. Sorry. That's how come we have to point z1 back in the equation. So now we have an equation, a value for y2. So it's y2 is equal to 1.547462 something. So now we are looking for z2. Z2 are using the second equation. Z2 is z is equal to 1 out of 10 g bracket 24 minus x minus okay. So that's what I've written. After writing it, then you punch on the calculator. So that's the value of z. The equation for z is the same equation that we are using. So now punch it 1 out of 10 gets calc. Press calc and make sure that you are still using the x2, this x2. So yeah, that's it. So you press equal to again. Make sure s1 there represent y that we just got, and equal to sign, then to get the z2. So that is the value. Go for z2. Yeah, back again, trying to find z3. Okay, so z2 still on z2. We got 1.8428650076. Write it down. Please write everything. When we are done, we are going to find x3. That's the equation for x3. You know, this is the equation. X is equal to 1 out of 28 g bracket 32 minus 4y plus z. Now the letters here are y and z, so we have y2 but we only have z1. Okay, so do it in that order. Sorry, I turned my camera. Sorry, I'm so sorry. So we get y2, y3. We are now finding y3. So we got x3. We are finding for y3. Y3 means the third, the value for y in the third iteration. So punch that on the calculator and we get the value in box. Now I'm showing you how to get the exact value on the calculator. So you press mode. So it's on the calculator, press mode, and then equation 5, and then 2. So to give you the option to upload simultaneous equation of 3 variables. So that's what I'm doing. Shift mode 5, mode 5, that's equation, and then go to 2. Second choice will give you the opportunity to key in all the values that you have for the equation. So I was using the equation I have up there. And 3, 3, 10, and then 24. So after doing this, you get the exact values. Press convert it to decimals. So in decimals, that's where you get 0.9. Let me write it at the bottom. So 0.993594142. And then what's the value for y? Y is 1.50697708. And what's the value for z? 1.848547. So after reaching here, I did 5 iterations. After reaching here, I know that I've gotten the answer because comparing these two, they are exactly almost the same in 4 decimal places. So the question was asking me to leave my answer in 4 decimal places. And so after doing this, you can do the approximation and then leave your answer in 4 decimal places. Approximated, I beg you, in 4 decimal places. So when I got there, I knew that's what I'll get. So I was just using the calculator as a reference point to check my answers. So yeah. So I would believe I'll leave in the description a picture of the solution so that you can take a look at it and find a way around it. Thanks.